Some of you old-timers may recall Marlon Brando's portrayal of a fighter, Terry Malloy, in the film On the Waterfront. Do you remember the scene with Brando and Rod Steiger? Steiger played Brando's brother. It took place in the back of a car, and Brando tells him, "You don't understand, I could have been a contender." Well, the script could have been based on the lives of many fighters whose once promising ring careers were destroyed by bad management and a lust for quick money. One such career belonged to somebody that I think you should know, who could have been, in my opinion, light heavyweight boxing champion of the world. This is E.T., and this is Kirk Barrow, born and raised in Spokane, Washington. He's been gone since 2001 after having endured decades of boxing-related health problems. By the way, stay with me to the end of this video for a personal story of E.T.'s run-in with Kirk. Kirk Barrow was, for a while, ranked by Ring Magazine among the top 10 light heavyweights of the world. And that's at a time when the division was dominated by greats such as Archie Moore, Willie Pastrana, Harold Johnson, and Barrow should have, in my opinion, gotten a shot at the best. But for reasons of greed and mismanagement, Barrow was put in the ring instead with heavyweights, possessed of tremendous weight, height, and reach advantages. And this is at a time when boxing, well, most sports, had discovered Dianabol and other anabolic steroids that made the heavyweights larger and stronger. Let's take a peek at Kirk Barrow's pro boxing career. He moved up really quick. He started out as a middleweight, did not do all that well. He did okay. Then as a light heavyweight, he starts to do very well. He gets a win over Sixto Rodriguez. Then the big money fight with, or at least big publicity fight, with Terry Lewis in October of 1960. Now, Terry Lewis had won 16 of 17 fights by knockout. He had lost only once. That was to Earl Atlee. Earl Atlee was a sparring partner to Sonny Liston. Terry Lewis was 6 feet 6 inches, 240 pounds. He outweighed Barrow by over 50 pounds. Well, let me tell you a little story associated with this. It's told by an associate of Barrow's and somebody who worked for Barrow's manager. This young man worked as an elevator operator part-time in a Spokane hotel, and he picked up Terry Lewis, who was staying at the hotel, and he's at a higher floor, takes the elevator down, stops at another floor, the door opens up, and there is Kirk Barrow, who's also staying at the hotel. Barrow takes a look at Terry Lewis inside. He tells the elevator operator to get out. He then walks into the elevator, shuts the door. There's a short commotion. The door opens. Barrow walks out with a smile. There on the floor asleep is Terry Lewis. Days later, Lewis will be knocked out in the ring by Barrow. Well, the next big fight for Barrow will be a loss, but not really. It's a split decision, and it is against Pete Rademacher, former Olympic heavyweight boxing champion. And he's notable, Rademacher is, for having, for his first pro fight, a crack at the heavyweight championship, at that time held by Floyd Patterson. Now, Rademacher will not win, but he does okay for a while. He'll go on to fight some of the very best, such as Zora Foley, Brian London, the knockout artists Lamar Clark, George Chuvalo, Vili Bezmenov, Archie Moore, Carl Mildenberger. So Barrow is in with somebody who's really good in Pete Rademacher. The decision is split. There are many people who maintain, even today, who were there at the fight, that Barrow should have gotten the decision. And that's how it was reported across the country. So Barrow's currency went up with this minor loss. He'll then have 5 other fights that go well for Kirk. But then there is a KO loss to Vaughn Clay. This too took place in Spokane. Clay was always hovering between light heavyweight and heavyweight. He had just recently fought for the light heavyweight title, and he knocked out Kirk. then there are going to be more losses. And then he is put in the ring in 1963, June or August, with Cleveland Williams. This was a horrible mismatch, especially for a fighter like Kirk, who was coming off a series of losses. This fight is against Cleveland Williams, 6 feet 3 inches, an 80-inch reach. He has, I think, about a 50 or 60-pound weight advantage. He will fight or has fought men like George Chuvalo, Mac Foster, Bob Claro. He fought Muhammad Ali for the title. He fought Eddie Machen, Alex Matev, Sonny Liston twice, and it's going to be a loss for Kirk Barrow. Then a loss to Willie Ray Richardson. Then he's put in the ring with Carl Mildenberger, who holds the European Heavyweight Championship. And Mildenberger has fought or will fight the best, such as Henry Cooper, Leotis Martin, who else? Oscar Bonavena. He fought Muhammad Ali for the title, Zora Foley, the list goes on. It was so bad for Kirk after these 3 fights that he would suffer terrible brain trauma, be hospitalized and then institutionalized for decades, unable to recognize even members of his own family. Had Kirk Barrow remained at light heavyweight, he would have, in my opinion, gotten a shot at the championship and would have contended against either Harold Johnson or Willie Pastrana. Would Kirk Barrow have gotten a victory? I think he could have, but who can say? Well, let me tell you my story. We go back to 1958. E.T. is 15 years old. He weighs about 135 pounds. He's with a nice girl. He can't drive. He's not old enough. So his cousin, age 20, is driving. His cousin's there with his girlfriend. We're parked at a drive-in restaurant, but none of the girls are coming out to the car because there's some kind of commotion up front. E.T. looks out and sees Kirk Barrow and some of the boys from Fairchild Air Base with whom he has a series of confrontations. The cops have been called, but they're not there yet. Well, E.T.'s cousin decides that E.T. will go pick up the root beers. E.T. knows this means death. But he steps out of the car and walks up toward the entrance, looks at Kirk Barrow, and Kirk nods, moves out of the way. E.T. goes in, gets the root beers, 4 in a container. He's shaking so bad they're beginning to spill. He walks out the door. Again, Kirk moves out of the way, nods, how you doing, kid? But E.T. was shaking so badly that by the time he got back to the car with the 4 root beers, each cup was 1/2 or less full. Another postscript to the postscript. Decades later, E.T. got to know Kirk Barrow's brother, Alex. And Alex is one of the brightest and most fun guys you could meet. He is E.T.'s mentor when it comes to movie trivia, and E.T. fancies himself as pretty much an expert. But Alex is E.T.'s go-to guy. A question comes up. What would have happened had Kirk Barrow not gotten into boxing at all? He was a very talented artist, and my guess is that he would have done very well in a multitude of endeavors had he shown any interest in doing so. Let me know what you think. This is E.T. Put your comments below and hit the like or dislike button, and do subscribe, and you see that little bell up top. Hit that and you'll get notification of any future videos. Thank you very much.